now in the presence of a king.
Well, I tell you how much I love that intro. I really love that intro. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back and we are the Blerds of the Cosmic Portal. We got our man Paladin back with us, and of course, our lovely couple, Marky Mark and Yo. Um, we had to readjust, we had to sidestep, and we had to take some people down and remove them and it's hard finding good blurs. That's all I got to say. It's hard finding good blurs. Um, Black exploitation films. All right, so the the phrase gets coined in the '70s, right? The early '70s. I'd like to say '71, but I think it's '72 when it actually gets coined, that phrase. Um, of course, we're talking about black and exploitation. That's what black exploitation is. The whole thing. Um, Hollywood stereotypes black people. We're making money now because we're on the big screen, and then Hollywood sees it and just starts rolling these bad boys out. There's actually a network, the OG network. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but the OG network. Um, and I want to make sure that I'm correct in who owns it because I think it's Ice T that owns the OG network. Um, huh? It's not going to show me. It's not going to show me who owns the OG network. Owner. There it is. Yeah.
He's a
Okay.
co-founder.
So it is Big Court Richardson II and Ice T that launched this network in 2025. And when I tell you, these guys have all the Mac. So all these pimp movies and the crazy antics that I see. Oh. And Dexter's here too. So we'll be giving Dexter an education as well. Uh, Black exploitation films. So again, the OG network. I happened to see this one pimp movie where the dude was sweeter than Kool Aid on a summer morning, and he had this flair for throwing out his hands and talking, and you know, um, and I could not believe that it was Ice T and this other guy had started this OG network. And since we had already did television and stuff, we wanted to come back and kind of go over that. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the films and the way we kind of took Hollywood for that brief moment by storm. What was one of the first introductions, and I'm going to be real with you guys. I think for me, if it wasn't Shaft, it had to be Blackie.
It was Car Wash for me. So I remember watching that.
Car Wash was a black exploitation film.
Yep. So that was one of the first ones I remember seeing. I loved the song.
Yeah, it was
Loved the,
cool.
seeing Richard Pryor as a preacher and just taking everybody's money. The one girl that jumped out of the back of the taxi, went into the bathroom, came out a totally different person.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
So that was a good movie. And then I loved the song. Everybody knew that song. You hear that clap?
Yeah.
That was it. The movie started. I'm dancing. I'm already hyped about it. Car wash. Uh,
Car wash.
yep. Besides,
You
I
know,
love
I
black.
considered yeah, but
Yeah,
I considered car wash
yeah.
more of a well, I guess it could be, but I always considered that almost like a damn musical. That was more of one of our. But the more I think about it, it definitely had every element of black exploitation in it.
Yep.
That the way because we were celebrating the way we talked, the way
Mhm.
we acted, the way we ate,
Yep.
our jive.
It wasn't, but you got to think, it wasn't just black people in that movie. You had Hispanics, you had American Indians, all in the
No,
same
yeah.
movie, and they were all family, just about. So it's just a good movie all the way around.
Very good, very good. Okay, I mean I'll go along with that. Okay. Car wash. All right, Paladin. You the wait a minute, Miss Yo. You did not chime in.
I didn't. I while we were talking, I literally, and this is kind of, I guess, a late '70s movie that I used to watch all the time, but it's actually Thank God It's Friday. It's literally just popped in my head. I mean, Donna Summer was in it. You had the black group getting stopped by the white cop on the way to the nightclub, and he had to play all the instruments, you know. I remember just growing up watching that movie, and it came out in '78, but I thought it was just so hilarious the way they were talking in the movie. Of course, she's trying to be Donna Summer's trying to be, a singer, but when I think of '70s, movies like that, I think of that movie and the next movie. It came out in '88. But the movie, oh my God, it was just on the tip of my tongue. It was I Want to Get You Sucker. The movie, even though it was made in '88, the movie pretty much
It was a
represents
callback. Yes, it was a callback. It was. You're right.
and I watched that movie and just laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. You had the white man in it. You had the tough men coming to try to save the girl, and I can watch it now and just think it's hilarious.
You like my hair?
Yeah, the pimp. I
You took
thought
the
about
wig off.
it.
It's just
And my voluptuous little ass, and she
not
popped that off. Yeah.
even the right color. Don't make me hop over there.
Oh my God. Was
Oh, man.
matter
It's
of fact,
amazing.
we had Boogie Down Productions doing uh what was it? Jack of Spades?
Oh yes, yes, the theme
Remember
song.
that was a big yeah.
Yep, that was a
All
good one.
right, young one, where you at?
I mean, you
You
ain't got
have to have one.
you ain't got to say it all like that. I mean, granted, I wasn't born to '82, and I didn't start watching. I didn't know of black exploitation until what, late '90s. Probably I was in high school by then, and we were living overseas. So I think it was some of my mom and dad's friends that kind of introduced me, my brother and sister to it to indoctrinate us more into the culture. Let's say. But we watched Shaft. and then I found out about Foxy Brown. I was kind of locked into that cycle for a little bit. Um, so I think those were the first two I saw. I do remember seeing "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker." That one was good, but I didn't revisit that until like again later on in life. So through my early 20s and stuff, and I was on other stuff, and then I got older in my 30s and whatever, and I started, oh, let me go back and watch some of these old films, and some other friends that were around that a lot more because of their family and stuff like that. Like, Vince, you ain't never seen him? Like, no, I never seen. I mean, I know what black exploitation is. I ain't seen a whole lot of movies, so I spent a lot of time getting re-educated on a lot of stuff. But definitely Shaft and Foxy Brown were some of my favorites when I first started getting introduced to it. So, and
Okay.
not to mention, I mean, it was well, what's the one that what's his name did like not too long ago. Um, they did it was on Netflix because Jamie Foxx was in it. Um, was on Netflix. They
They
cloned
clone
Tyrone.
Tyrone.
Yeah, lots of
Yeah.
callbacks to the era, right? And then
Yeah, that is a callback.
uh, um, Spawn, he did one. It was there with Black Dynamite.
Yeah, he was Black
We
Dynamite.
talk about that.
Well, there
So,
was a. Go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say, I definitely think it would be good to see some more of those, like you know, modernized but callbacks, or make the movie as that, for a lot of the younger people who ain't never seen none of that, that'll hopefully cause them to go back and watch some of the older films too, to kind of see like, yeah, no, see, yeah, to see how bad it was, but we're here for it.
Well, I'm going through this list, and dude, there's a movie called Coonskin. Uh, I mean, I'm just and the Inglourious Bastards that Tarantino did. Apparently, that was an original black film,
Really?
and then he remade that for that stuff. I mean,
And I saw
I am
it
just yeah.
afterwards.
I'm looking at some of these names, you know, Death Drug, The Hitter, Disco Godfather, Sun Dragon, uh, the $6,000 Inn. $6,000.
I was like,
I mean,
what are you talking about? Oh,
mm, so and there's a hard R at the end of that, not a A.
oh wow,
So, and
okay,
then look, the last movie I do remember that me and my father watched together was Penitentiary 1 and Penitentiary 2.
mm,
And I was still in shock because I was 9. So this probably hit HBO probably like, a year or two later after that. You know what I mean? Um so I was maybe 10 or 11 when it came on HBO, and me and my dad are sitting there watching this. Now, there ain't no way in the world I should have been watching that film. Ain't I'm telling you now, I vividly remember that film because
it
uh
scarred you for life.
oh yes. Yeah, because that's the first time that I seen a dude go in there and kind of he raped the girl to death.
Mm,
Raped her to death. And I'm looking at my dad like, can you clarify this for me? Like, what did I
right.
just see? You know what I mean? Um, there ain't no way in the world I'm letting any of my kids see nothing like that. I'd be like, nah, 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 nah. But my dad grew up from that era of his dad where they didn't hug and touch and whatnot. You know what I mean? It was shake hands and all this other stuff. But yeah, I remember that film. I remember that film vividly. I remember that. And then the one where I think it was Penitentiary 1, it had Mr. T in it.
Oh wow.
Probably
Okay.
Penitentiary too. The Black Terrorist. Jeez, boy, I'm
Look,
telling you.
we forgot to mention because I'm look, I pulled up a list because I know I've seen more that I just don't remember. Cooley High.
I think we talked about that as the show too. But yeah, all those things, all these movies, because once one of these became a hit, they just kept rolling them out because our box office dollar was Penitentiary 14 was the box. No, he's right. They had like 4 or 5 of these penitentiary movies.
Right.
Marky Mark and Vonda are having some issues with getting back online. So, uh,
We'll keep
you know,
pressing. Look, Black Caesar's another one. Now I have never seen it, but I heard about it. I've definitely heard
oh,
about it a bunch. Like,
now
like,
look,
like you just did. That's what everyone.
yeah, I'm telling you, man. But if you listen to the language, the way we were talking back in there, none of these films could be shown today because,
Mm,
especially like with Blackula,
mm,
um, they were calling out the homosexual community by slurs.
mm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
um, I mean, you watch it now, but back then we were, you
Right.
not to excuse the language, but you were saying it and you didn't really think twice about it or whatever else, and then, you know, now when you hear it, you're like, oh my god, I can't believe we were sitting there and we were laughing at it, and, carrying on,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just crazy. But the crazy part about it was that from uh and this is a long list, right? So in 1970, you had 8 films. 71, 9 films, right? They made so much money. In 72, they made 34 films.
Wow.
73, 34, 74, 41 films.
You know what? You know what kills me?
What's that?
Even like, so just riddling off those numbers, right? And not
Mm-hmm.
to derail us, but then like
Mm-hmm.
how long it's been, let's say, just between Marvel movies, right? As an example,
Mm-hmm.
right? Maybe there's not a good correlation in terms of, because granted, it's like we could make a black exploitation movie now and you get our cameras and just go do some stuff, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
think, like you said, the money that was they were making, and the black community being so happy to see more of us on the big screen, and of course everyone trying to take advantage of that, on both sides of the equation, right? Where it's like, okay, instead of making something that really it reflects the times and the culture or whatever, and just capitalize it, becomes, you know, um, let's just say foolishness for the lack of a better word, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
take something like Soul Plane that comes out, decades later, and people be mad about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And then and I'm going through the list. I'm looking at. 'em, I'm like, some of these I definitely remember. I didn't see them, but I definitely heard people talk about them, like Sheba Baby, um, and pretty much anything with Pam Grier.
Well, look,
um,
they stopped the films at 1982. So
mm,
from 70 to 1982, there were 235 that they classify as these films.
that's wild.
And this tells you, as a people, we have the potential to do uh damage to Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Um my greatest example is Black Panther, you
Mm,
know. Although I don't see the the way, you come out in dashikis and all this other stuff, and I'm sitting there going, you come out like this for a movie, but you won't come out like this to vote, or you won't come out. You know what I'm saying? Not to get too political, but
But yeah, facts.
it kind of made me mad because I'm sitting next to a 5 year old that can't sit still and doesn't care, and I'm trying to get into the story. Now I got this little guy moving and jerking and moving and pushing and hitting my seat. You know what I mean? And his father is taking them to this movie where this kid don't care.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I'm a little disappointed uh with the way we turn out for entertainment versus other more important things in my views. But this 235 films in
over
a
12
12-year
years.
period
Now, earlier
tells
when
me
we were
what.
having an issue, you were talking about Penitentiary. And I was going to say, I think I saw that when I was 12.
Oof.
So that was too young to see that movie as well. Because I will never forget the boxing matches in the bathroom scenes.
Yes.
That part was over the top for me. So I was like, yeah, that should not have been a kid's movie. No kid should have seen that.
Yeah.
What other one that I was thinking about? Blackula I saw when I was like 16 or 17, but I still love that movie. And Scream, Blackula Scream was always a good one.
But Mark, the language. I was talking about the language in that
Oh, yeah.
when um the people of the alphabet community were on screen.
Yeah.
The for the slurs, the slurs
Oh,
that they
yeah.
were using. The other day, as I think like last week or something like that, we were talking about Blackula or something like that, and I went back and I watched it. Oh my god, man! I was like, oh, ooh, ooh, we you can't, I mean, at the drop of a hat, they were using that. The young brother was out there with his little hand down and switching and whatnot, and they were throwing out them words, and I was like, you could not show any of these films now. You couldn't,
No.
Mm-mm.
not a
Oh,
one.
I
Car
just
Wash, you
remember you
might be
said
able to get
something
away with.
that, yeah, but when you said that about Penitentiary, think about all the language that they were using while watching the boxing matches. That you cannot say now either. And I
Nah,
haven't seen Penitentiary in a few decades.
I
yeah,
don't remember that one.
Oh, it's
yeah.
it's rough.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I don't even think I was like, in the 80s. I mean, after the 80s, I haven't touched anything like that. I don't think
But look, like here and here's one. So I found the movie Calabash. You talking about Boss with the hard R?
Oh,
So I'm like, wait. So I went and looked it up. Directed by this cat who was a science fiction filmmaker. Right. So that's how you know somebody's just in it for the money, or it got brought. Hey, you want to make this movie about some black people and some westerns? And sure, I guess. It's just wild for that many films, and not all of them. Like not all of them had to be made by. Some of them I would imagine were made by like much smaller studios. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Oh,
For
yeah.
that many films, if Hollywood's not putting, not supporting that many black films. Come on.
mm-mm. But it was all about the money.
Yeah.
Any studio that could get a piece of anything because they knew that was money. It's like, when we call the boycott for Target or anything else.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a huge chunk out of that money, so they got to get it back in there. It's just like with China. China's a huge market, so Disney did what they did with John Boyega. Okay, we're going to shrink him down, and we're not going to say much about it because that's a huge market. That money, when we tell you guys, butts in seats, I've always said the best way to really show the powers that be that you're not really down for anything that they have, don't stream it, don't go for it, don't buy any merch for it. That's the way to tell them. That's the only way they'll understand that certain things fall apart. Um, Unfortunately, now we have a lot of people now that do all this stuff with the it was because of this, and no, it's because your thing sucked. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Not everything can be a home run. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Um, but these movies were gold because we were going to the box offices to droves. You can see like over two. What the first two was like 9 and like 6, and then all of a sudden it jumps up to 30 something movies,
Wow.
and in a year there's like 2 to 3 movies a month that these movies coming out.
Nowadays.
And you
Did
got
they?
to think about it. You had what? You had like Vonda said, you had Richard Pryor. Some of these films had Richard Roundtree.
Yeah. I'm looking at
You
you now.
know, we had predominant stars. Really, Clifton Davis.
I was gonna say
Um,
Ajayi White. What's his name? Franklin Ajayi.
mhm.
I used to like him a
uh,
lot.
who else? Isaac Hayes. Even I think Ernie Hudson, right? Ernie Hudson played whatchamacallit, didn't he? In whatchamacallit?
I don't think so. I don't know what movie you're
Let me
talking
see.
about.
I
Pam
don't know. I'm
Grier,
trying.
of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I know who he is.
I mean, it's just wild to me
But we can't forget
that
Jim Brown.
Wingfield,
Brown.
Winfield, Jim Brown.
Yeah, Jim Brown.
You know,
Three of the Hard Way came up on my list. I was like, oh right.
right? Billy D. Williams was in the hit.
Well, Billy D. Williams did a
Billy
bunch of
D.
stuff.
Williams.
Yeah. He was
Cause you,
big. Oh, there he is right there.
Yeah. So I mean, you have all these stars. And they kind of kept them in a little rotation. You know what I mean?
it was a good time
I
for
mean,
them.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I forgot to mention earlier were the Sidney Poitier, Bill Cosby movies that they did. Uptown Saturday Night. What is it? Let's Do It Again. Because that's where Biggie Smalls got his name. Um, he took it from that movie.
Isaac Hayes.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
bunch of people were taking stuff, and those movies were hilarious. You know,
But you definitely can't do those movies now.
but they were great movies
Yeah.
back then. Oh my
But it's
goodness.
definitely a sign of the times because now, they're going to talk about racism and, the cuss words and, it's definitely times has changed. And, because I'm looking at this list now, and a lot of these movies I've kind of seen, it's been a long time. So this kind of made me think, as, the older generation, the younger people don't know about a lot of these movies, and these are in our culture. And some of these Zoe has watched with us, but most of these she probably had no idea about them. And that's kind of sad.
Hmm.
But look,
Well,
here's a question.
I took.
What,
Go ahead.
look, just a question, real quick. Would she be offended by some of these movies and be like,
No,
I can't
no,
believe y'all watch this. Like, this is horrible. Like,
Well, she said that we went when Purple Rain
yeah,
came back to the movie theaters, and I wouldn't let them watch that. And I was like, I think you're old enough to see it now.
that was like last year.
Yeah. She was like, this movie's not bad. I'm like, no, I saw it when I was 13. I don't think I was old enough to see that movie at 13. So,
But I think it's just depending on the person. My oldest daughter Zoe, she will probably sit down. She's all about Black Power. Where my youngest daughter Zaria is like, no, no. So it's just people personalities. Where when these movies came out, I wanted to watch them with my parents, and it was okay for me to watch them with my parents. Now I think parents would be like, just because how society is, we're kind of scared for our kids to go to school and say, hey, you know, my parents let me watch this, and then you got people that's probably listening and said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're letting your child watch this," and now you got problems. Where back then we all watched it with the teacher.
Right. I mean, but in comparison, like, granted, like, movies like this aren't necessarily being made, but the content and what it exposed, like y'all was saying, you were saying stuff you probably shouldn't have seen at a very young age or whatever,
Oh
where
yeah.
the older folks, adults would be like, hey, this is just it's okay or whatever. But
Yeah,
now, like, in the concept, the baseline thing, kids are, I would say, exposed to far more with social media, and a lot of ways, a lot of the stuff that's in these films just out in the streets on a regular, right? So it's like, well, you ain't got to watch this to see about pimps and violence and all this, that, and the other. It's just, I think it's become more normalized than anything else, unfortunately.
yeah,
You know, it's not just us, and it's, you know, just being presented. We see everyone's crazy, but I don't know. I think there's lighthearted, I won't say lighthearted ways to do this, but the callback to, like we said, when we see a movie, we're like, oh, this is more like callback to the idea of like black people on film doing great things, adventures or whatever, or things that are specific to the community, but like it's not a celebration of the pimp, and of prostitution, this, that, and the
yeah.
other.
Okay.
you
Well,
know.
now I was just showing my wife a movie where Nichelle Nichols was a pimp.
Whoa.
I gotta watch
Oh,
this.
I love that movie where she slaps her and she tells her, "Listen,
Yeah,
bitch."
yeah.
Yeah, I gotta see this. I named my daughter. Her middle name is Michelle.
It was like
She can't do
Nichelle
this.
was handling things.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah, so I was like, that is a funny little thing that you could see Nichelle Nichols handling her stuff outside of Star Trek, so
But outside of everything she did,
everything she's done,
you
yeah.
know,
Black Belt Jones. I mean, there was a lot of, like, black people in martial arts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
yeah,
Like, that
Oh well,
introduced so many people
Jim
to.
Kelly.
Jim
Yeah.
Kelly
You know
was
what I mean?
huge.
Jim Kelly was the man. And still that too was because we, uh, you know, and to borrow the phrase from Bishop that I have to always tell him, hey, watch how you say that. A man's man, where the guy where you stay here, woman. I'm gonna go handle this, and then there's I want to help too, and then she get in the way, and you sit there going, I remember watching my mom with no shoes on fight in the street. And as a little boy, that always stuck with me. Like, yeah, my mom can throw hands. I need to be very careful what I say
Tread light.
because I watched her beat down some woman in the street barefooted, and that too stuck with me. You know what I mean? So I've always had that problem when I see that woman. Like, you stay here, baby. I'm gonna go handle this, and then she come in there and get all in the way. I'm like, come on, come
You're
on.
like,
You know what I
that's
mean?
not how
'Cause she
you
could have
move.
picked up a gun, shot 3 or 4 dudes before. You know what I'm saying? I just, you know what I mean. So even then, I was conscious that that was really kind of like somebody's fantasy that they
Yeah,
didn't want to see a woman other than a sexual object. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
yeah,
remember that one in Shaft where all the brothers was working out on the fields
yeah.
and the car is driving by and the woman she's raveling in it and she's getting off on it and the dude's looking at her all crazy and whatnot. Again, way too young to even understand what I'm watching. And I'm wondering why she getting turned on by a bunch of brothers outside working with some pickaxes. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And my dad was like, "You'll understand it when you get older."
Mm.
that was
Yeah.
That's
that
all
was my education. You'll understand it when you get older. I guess you want me to figure it out in the streets like you did. Okay, so it's none of these. I personally just believe none of these can see the light of day in this climate, especially now. Unfortunately, the way things are, the language in the film.
Hmm.
Now, if we were all getting together and we're like, "Yo, we're gonna watch," I don't know, Let's do it again. Oh, Sidney Poitier, Bill Cosby. Okay, cool. We would be down with it. Or Car Wash. Now that Mark said that, I want to see that film again, man. Because like that music, it was the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
the music.
soundtrack, and when you heard that, that music in the beginning, dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
Yeah.
dun, 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 you love that. You know what I mean? That's like the Wiz, which they
yeah.
took out of the Michael Jackson thing because a certain person didn't want it in there. I'm not gonna say who, Ross. So
I was gonna say I forgot all about that.
Yeah. We almost
mhm.
You had the Wiz that came out in what, 79 or
78, I think it was.
78? Okay.
Oh, it really came out then?
Yeah.
Because we definitely had the Wiz. My sister loved that movie. She used to have it on repeat. We used to get
Mhm.
sick of it, but we knew them songs and dances by heart.
I'll tell you, I
Oh yeah.
remember when Michael Jackson appeared on Soul Train to promote the Wiz before it came out. So
Really? Wow,
yeah,
that's crazy.
that was just something else because he was talking about it on Soul Train before he was Michael Jackson. You know, and then
And you know what kills me? Um, I was really upset when I found out that he passed. And now it was, oh, the legendary king of pop has passed. Oh, the legendary Michael Jackson. 2 weeks ago, you were sitting here calling him a pedophile and you were talking bad about Mr. Jackson. Oh, now that he's passed, you want to put some respect on his name. You
yeah,
cannot dismiss what this man and his four brothers and his sisters did for black music, period.
five
Yeah.
Michael
And
Jackson will
music in
always
general.
be the king of pop.
Everybody always
Now
missing
you
it.
can give
Yeah.
that
you missing a
that
brother.
that
It was
king of
five
rock
brothers.
title, you know, uh the person who has it now needs to have an asterisk by his name, in my humble opinion. Uh I'm a Chuck D fan, and I'll just say that. But king of rock my ass. I'm just saying. I'm a little upset. I'm a little upset by that, Mark. Your boy, he does not, and his blue suede shoes do not deserve that title.
Oh, I know
Period.
you was talking about the white man.
But Michael Jackson, king of pop, you're not gonna take that. That man,
No.
I mean, he almost bought Marvel.
Mhm.
He was in Men in Black.
He wanted to be Spider-Man. He auditioned for Spider-Man. How
Yeah.
about that?
Really? That's wild. I did
Yeah.
not know that.
Man, Tupac was almost in Star Wars.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really? As who?
Tupac. Who do you think?
Mace Windu.
He wasn't going to be Mace Windu, was he?
This was way back before he.
Yeah.
This was way
Oh
back.
my God.
It's almost like who else would he have been? But I guess they could have made up another black character for him.
I don't know. Still
Yeah,
can't
I'm
have
not
too
sure.
many of us.
Sci-fi could have been very different if Tupac was in Star Wars.
Yeah.
You got
True that.
Maybe for the better.
you got to remember too how he was rolling, because right we had Billy D that everybody was like, oh, we got Billy D Williams, and I'm like, yes, ooh, Billy D betrayed his friends.
But Billy D got that role because of Richard Pryor. So,
I just go ahead.
Richard Pryor said there's no black people in
Hmm.
a galaxy far, far away.
Well, they did the same thing for Michelle Nichols for Star Trek.
But they offered her the role when the show started. Billy D only got it because Star Wars had no black people.
Well,
And then Richard Pryor said, "We're not in the future," or whatever. And then that's how Billy D got that role. And like you said, he did betray the main, one of the antagonists, but he was there, I guess is the only way we can put that.
Yeah, and then of course by the time we get episodes 1 and 2 and 3, they were like, we're gonna switch things up, and they're gonna change it to make it a little bit more whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, because we
Again,
were everywhere then.
it's the time. It's the time of how everything is, how we're evolving, how we're putting more people in and doing stuff.
Yeah,
But with
because
these films, Go
I
ahead.
was going to say because George Lucas, he paid. Has anybody seen Red Tails? Because
Yeah.
that is a fantastic
Yeah, that's a good
movie,
movie.
and he paid for that out of his own pocket because he wanted to make that story.
No,
So
he paid for that because Hollywood turned him down,
yeah, but
and
he
then he
wanted
said,
that
"Fuck
story
it,
to come
I
out.
will do it." Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah, but
loved that
Holly,
story.
and that's another reason that it kind of like put him in that situation with Hollywood where like he didn't want to do this no more.
Yeah, and that is a
Because he
good.
wanted to tell a story, and they're like, well, they don't go to the movies like that. They don't want to see anything historical.
Yeah.
Right?
And his wife is black.
Yes.
Wait, really?
I mean,
Yeah.
I literally did not know that.
Well, they've been
yes,
together for
George
years.
Lucas'
Yeah.
wife is black.
Yeah,
Yeah. He loves it. Yeah,
She
he
is a
yeah,
loves it.
beautiful black woman. Good
Yeah.
yeah.
Lord, yes.
She
She's
is
like,
like an executive of
yeah,
something. I don't know.
she's not a
She's worth
sit
some
home
money.
woman. Yeah,
Hold on. See, y'all making me go to online now.
No, Google it, bro. Google it. I'm
Through the
telling you.
Google, huh?
Look, we're in the future. You can't tell me something like that and then be like, it just expect me to. Wow,
Yeah, you gotta go through the Google.
that,
yeah.
that is George Lucas with a beautiful black woman.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. That's his
Whitest white
wife,
man
sir.
you'll find. I
But
gotta
he
show
was
Stacey
he
after
was
this. She still
really
don't
so
believe
upset.
me.
That was the nail in the coffin for him when he went to do Red Tails and they said, "No, black people don't go to the movies like that." And he was like, "I'll do it myself." And he did it. And you have to give it to him for that he wanted to make that movie. He wanted,
Yeah, tell
I
that
still
story.
think we should go back and do that to keep the Tuskegee Airmen. Do
Yeah.
it right. Do
Yeah.
where they were doing all those experiments. But see, then it touches on this whole thing of, oh, here it is, another film about how we did them wrong and da 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 da.
Well, we did.
Like this
And
is
I'm
a
like, it's part of
not making
history.
this up.
You know,
Hmm.
Right?
History is not meant to be pretty. It's meant to teach you lessons so you don't do the same stupid stuff that you did
Okay.
beforehand.
Yep.
Okay,
You know,
so hypothetical question, real quick. So that being said, because I like that comment there. That being said, because we all agree the black exploitation movies of then couldn't be made now, but could we make different kind of black exploitation movies based off of what we learned from the past to still celebrate our unique culture, our
Yeah,
character, all those other things? Like,
I don't
what
know.
would those
Think
movies
you
look
should.
like?
Because let's
Huh.
talk about, we can say Blackula came out whenever in the 70s. And then when Eddie Murphy did, what is it?
Vampire in Brooklyn.
Vampire in Brooklyn, I was thoroughly impressed because it wasn't all that hee hee comedy stuff. It was an actual good movie that had, it did have some comic moments, like when he couldn't go in church. Good,
That ass was good.
yeah. But other than that, that was a good, and I would consider that a black exploitation movie. That was, a newer type movie. We actually was looking at New Jack City
Yeah,
earlier this afternoon, and I have not seen that movie.
So my mama's favorite movies.
I was gonna say
yes,
it's been decades since
yeah.
I don't think I've seen it since the '90s. But I'm gonna have to go back and watch it
Hmm.
again because I thoroughly enjoyed, you seeing Wesley Snipes,
I
Ice T,
see.
as undercover cop. I'm like, man, this was pretty good from the few minutes I sat down and watched. So yeah, there's possibilities. It's just gonna have to be in a different tone. Um,
Oh, it's definitely going to be in a different tone.
but they
That's
can
the
definitely make
problem now.
movies.
Everything that you do now, and unfortunately, there's been so much bad writing
Yes.
that I don't think people could understand an intelligent story if you gave them one right now.
Yeah.
I just don't think they don't have the mindset. We don't have the mindset. Well, hell, half of us can't even read. So, you know what I'm saying? I I get so upset now because sometimes when I'm enjoying something, I go, I don't know if I'm enjoying it because it's good or it's because it's just above average, above the trash that I have been watching.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I look at Darth Maul and I'm like, oh man, this is great. Is it great because it's really good, or is it great because it's not all that stupid stuff I've just seen that's
Yeah.
been forced down my throat? You know what I mean? And I have to question it now, and I have to look at it now and go, is it because it's good, or is it because it's just better than the garbage I've gotten up until now?
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. There are people, hey, don't sell uh, to Paramount. Don't sell them to Paramount. Don't let them take over this studio. At this point in juncture, I'm tired of the trash that I'm getting. Can I get something new? Do you have to take it back to a male centric view? Um, I've seen nothing but where they boss lady bosses or whatever these women are, or whatever, you know what I mean, and men are just incompetent, loudmouth people.
Hmm.
I don't like it. I get tired of it. I get, you know what I mean. Stories start off great, and all of a sudden now it's all about the woman and how she went from 0 to 100, and she's taking charge, and all the men are just idiots.
Hmm.
And then you wonder why when people don't watch, and then if you do speak up, I don't even fight with these people no more. That's why we don't really do Star Wars videos anymore, because I got so tired. Well, it's easy to judge the bad stuff. Find what's good in it. Well, there's not much good in it. I'm tired of it. I mean, you know what I mean?
But
But at the same time, go ahead.
no, no, bro, go ahead. I cut you off.
Oh, I'm just saying, at the same time, you don't have to sit here and bash it. We all know it sucks. Why keep saying it? You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Um, I hate to say this, but I don't like a lot of the stuff that is on here. But at the same time, uh, you know, uh, Vonda and I are going through the Star Trek stuff, right? And I know I've gotta get through Discovery. I got through the first season of Discovery, and I was like, okay, ooh, they brought in Pike in the second season. All right. Oh no, we're gonna take Pike away. Well, you just took away my favorite damn character. I get a little. I'm at that age where if you take away my favorite thing out of a show, I don't want to watch the show no more. I'm just done. They killed off Darth Maul. I was like, Attack of the Clones. I'll wait. I will wait. I knew that the last film in the trilogy was going to be good because everybody wants to see Vader transform. So I wasn't really caring about that. But they took Pike out. Pike got his own show. I've stuck through it. I want to see the end. I have to see the end of this stuff. I've got to go through Discovery, and I'm not feeling too good about it because I saw where it was going. I didn't really care for it. But then it went to the future. And I'm like, okay, well, now you guys got your own space. You can do whatever you want to do here. Go there, do that, stay there, do that. The problem is, you get a new show. What do they want to do? They want to go back to the past to try to link their crap with the old good stuff. And now we're all good. No, we're not. We're not all good. Stop doing that. You have your own show. Stand on your own merits. You guys can do this. Just stop this crazy, stupid stuff. Give us good stuff. You can make a black film. Uh, they were talking about Chappelle talking about making a comeback with Eddie Murphy. I don't know how Chappelle's show would work now. We're not in that same era. You know what I
I
mean?
couldn't even
You
imagine.
know,
It wouldn't work.
Yeah.
I
Well,
just don't.
I'll tell
The
you,
stories,
he
Rick
was,
James, bitch, and all that. It
yeah,
can't work now.
yeah. I was just thinking about that. But what do you think about just remaking something, a black exploitation movie from back in the '70s? Because they did Superfly probably about 12 years ago, and that
Yeah.
turned out to be a very good movie that nobody watched, but it was really, really good.
No, that's the problem. Even if it's a good story that no one seems to be interested, they don't seem to be anything in the back in the 1900s. Yeah, like they make it sound like, you know what I mean.
It was,
Anything beyond 2000 is just
yeah,
no. You know what I mean. So
Yeah.
I really don't think they have an interest in that culture. from from the 60s to the 90s. I don't think they have any interest in that culture anymore. And that's the sad part because their culture is built off of everything that we built and they act like it's theirs now. You know? Um
I don't know. I mean, it, I think Mark, to your question, I think it's picking the right film and not even like a Black Dynamite, which was made to be a I don't know, I wouldn't really call it a parody of a black exploitation film because it was kind of just it was what it was, and there's a place for that. But I think maybe like a modernization, respecting the original work, but then
blackening.
yeah, right.
Remember
Like
that,
Yeah,
Mark?
that was funny though. But then now that I mean, I'm thinking about it. So Car Wash, Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg did a remake of that.
right,
Mm-hmm.
So people are still making it. That one did okay.
Well, you had two of the biggest rap icons
Yeah.
True.
pushing it.
right.
You know, you got
Can you think of anybody else? Do you really want to see Nicki Minaj in something?
no.
No.
Mega
He
Kiki,
Stallion?
does,
Kiki Palmer did one too, where she won the lottery. I think wasn't it that came
Yeah.
out last year? That did not do well at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, her and her sister or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, we didn't even see that.
didn't see it.
Mm-mm.
like
It's
I'm
not.
looking at the list. I'm thinking if they redid Three the hard way, like
Okay.
just the premise of the movie,
Neither.
right? Which honestly is not too far from the atmosphere of today. It could happen, right? But with you got someone's wife's kidnapped, a record producer teams up with a martial artist. I mean, it might be good fun, right? Just I don't know. I think it could be done. Maybe not something like Penitentiary, might not. And I wouldn't. I would be careful touching something like Foxy Brown or whatever, because you might over sexualize whoever you got.
Right.
Like Pam Grier was beautiful, she was sexy, yes, but I might need to go back and rewatch it. But she wasn't just a sex symbol. I don't think.
No,
Like
she was yeah, because
it's
she
her
was hot,
business.
you know.
Who you would pick to play that role now?
Yeah, who could take
Right,
Pam
that's what I'm saying. I don't know if there's anyone that has enough class, as it were, right, to be like
in their 20s?
Yeah,
beautiful,
in the
sexy,
20s and 30s.
strong, and but
Yeah,
not overly hypersexual,
yeah,
right?
because I was gonna say, what's it, Taraji P. Henson? She could have did that 20 years ago,
Mm.
but
Yeah,
not today, because she's older.
Didn't she do an action movie? What
Yes,
was it
where she
called?
was a killer.
yeah, we didn't see that either.
Oh, I saw that.
Um,
She was a killer.
it came out last year.
No, no, this came out like 10, 12 years ago.
No, there's one that came out recently, that either
Yeah,
Oh,
last
it
year.
I
came
haven't
out
seen that
recently.
one
Yeah,
because there was one she was like an assassin or something.
That it was something Mary. Was that it?
I know, like in the last like 2 3 years, but it hasn't. It's not that old. Yeah, he's
Oh,
right.
I haven't seen
That's
that
who I
one.
thought he was talking about.
No.
Yeah, and I can't even tell you the name of it.
Proud Mary.
Yeah, when did that come out?
Uh, 2018. So I mean,
Okay, well,
a little bit longer than a few years ago.
Well, if that's the one, yeah, I did see that because she was assassin in that. I think
Yeah, and I remember watching the trailer. Unfortunately, I still hadn't seen it, but I was like, "Oh, I think I want to watch that," because
it's a good
I like
movie.
driving, right? And it gave me that kind of bad black female. She's beautiful, this, that, and the other, But it's not about, at least from the trailers, it's not about her being a sex symbol,
No, no,
right?
she
yeah,
was not mainly
Her
the
her, her,
main. Was
her
not
beauty is
that.
just an asset amongst other things.
Well, I tell you, I would love to see um
let me see.
a great female black lead that that can go in there, handle herself. I just don't want them going toe to toe with 6 foot 390-pound dudes, and she takes a hit from one of these dudes, and just a scene before he hit one dude and the dude didn't get up, and now she's taking his hit and she getting up. I just I, you know
Yeah, not
I
not
would
a not
prefer
a
her.
not a throwing hand session. Now, if she set up a bunch of
No,
traps and then cut his
no.
Achilles and he falls down on her knife, then yeah, that makes sense.
Look,
You like
I'm
cutting
telling
her
you
Yeah,
this.
fingers.
you're
I'm
right. He
telling you
messed
this.
up already.
I
He
would
walked into a
prefer.
claymore and blew his face off. That's his fault.
Look. I would prefer
Gonna
her to come
say,
in, take out her gun, and start shooting kneecaps. And
yeah.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
Well, I was
get
gonna
a
say
John Wick
because
on him.
Ballerina, they portrayed her correctly because she was a very small woman, and they were like, "Look, you cannot fight these men. You got to
The weapons.
use your weapons and
Yeah.
use
The
their
environment.
force against
Yeah,
them." And she, she couldn't deal with John Wick,
Obviously.
but she was able to check out, a lot of these guys
yeah,
just
she,
based on what she was using in her environment. So
yeah,
that's what they need to stick with. You cannot, like you said, take on somebody who's 6 foot
120
it,
pounds.
more than you are. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
but
it's
she handled herself.
but they have ways that they can do this. I mean, it's just, again, the writers that we have. Um, I recently saw something that just scared me to death. They were interviewing the writers, and they said we couldn't just call it Green Lanterns. That sounded stupid.
Well, that's what the thing is called.
Yeah, this is the name.
And I just, and I sat there and I said, and that's what's wrong with your series, and that's why it'll fail. You don't respect the material. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
it,
again a lack of respect at what came before, and I see that in this younger generation. You make it in there, Paladin. So you with us. We gonna keep you in Gen Z with us.
look, I'm in that sweet spot
Gen
of
X,
old
I mean.
school and
Gen
new
X.
school, right? I'm in that
Yeah.
sweet spot, you know.
But these other ones, man, I'm telling you, they have no clue. The respect factor isn't there. That's the problem that bothers me. They don't respect what comes before them, and then they figure that they can just remake it in their image, tie it to the old IP somehow, and that's what it is. And now this is what it is, and we're all this. And the writers only want to be part of that universe. That's another problem. If you're writing a character, I get it. Some of the characteristics can be based off you, but stop trying to live through this character and put yourself in your own fan fiction. Oh, I'm the new Dax. Stop. Stop. Stop it. It's it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? But they do this stuff, and they're getting all these little fake awards. They're all put into these categories, and now, oh, so and so are being honored. Oh yeah, yawn.
Yeah.
Make a better television show.
Mm.
I want to see a better television show.
Yep.
But we don't get certain things anymore. So we're gonna have to start going out and making our own shows, making our own comic books, making our own things. Ripperverse, the man who did the Ripperverse. Oh my God. Um, I think I think his name is Eric July.
Hmm.
Ripperverse.
I haven't heard of that one.
But his stuff, I'm telling you, is just off the chain. He created his own book, his own. Now he's going to anime. He's got not all his characters are black characters, but he's got so many characters that are out there, and he created his own universe. And now he getting an anime series. It's just crazy. We have to start pushing that to the forefront and stop whitewashing other characters and making them black, and stop taking ginger characters and making them black. Let's get our own stuff.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we hit the hour mark. Anybody got anything else to say?
Nope.
No.
This is fun, y'all. This is
Mm.
fun though.
All
I
right.
would. I definitely want to watch some of these shows that we're mentioning. Some of I've seen, some of them I haven't seen, in a very long time, and some I just didn't see at all. So I'm definitely interested in watching some of these. And, hopefully, some of you viewers out there, anything that we've mentioned that sounds interesting, go ahead and watch it because we really should, know something of our Black cultural. And it's kind of sad now that a lot of the young people today now don't know it. And if you don't go out and watch it and, at least Google it, you're missing a lot.
Yeah. We may watch Black
Most
Lightning.
definitely. Well, I will just leave everybody with this. Can you dig it?
Right on.
Look, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Finally.